Well, good evening and welcome to this regular meeting for Tuesday, December 7th. If everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Yetsey.
Here.
Mrs. McCarthy.
Here.
Mrs. Saxon.
Here.
Mrs. Tamira.
Here.
Mr. Vaca.
Here. Finalization of the agenda. Is there anything to add and or delete?
The agenda is final as presented.
Outstanding. We'll move right into the superintendent's treasurer's report.
We have a pretty exciting update tonight for the board. As you know, we have been working with some distance learning opportunities through both our curriculum offices as well as our technology office. And for the last 2 years, we have been able to afford our students the opportunity to learn both Mandarin Chinese and American Sign Language. And so I'm going to turn it over to Paul Hieronymus, who's going to talk a little bit more about what that looks like for our students.
Let's see if I can do this here correctly. All right, good. Well, thanks, everybody. President Vaca and Vice President Saxon and Board of Education. It's my pleasure to be up here to share a little bit about our distance learning programming. In the past, I've been updating you quite a bit about some of the virtual field trips we've taken, where our students have gone to Canada, and they've gone to New York, and they've gone all over the United States to have their curriculum enhanced through museums and other professional organizations, which has been a great thing. And we've had some great connections taking place at the Academic Center as well as Liberty. But today I thought it would be a nice little treat for us to have a chance to put some names and faces together with our teachers who we have teaching remotely to our students every day at the high school as well as the Academic Center. So I would like to just take a second to introduce our two remote teachers. We have Holly and Megan, and I'm going to let them really go into details about themselves and have a chance to talk a little bit about it. And then they're actually going to demonstrate their teaching skills, and they're going to teach us something here today. So with that, why don't we start with Holly? Go ahead and introduce yourself, and then when we're done with both of you, then we'll come back with our lessons.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Holly. My Chinese name is Hui Wen. My family and relatives are from China and Taiwan, and I was born and raised in Taiwan. I finished college in Taiwan, then I came to OSU to get my master's degree in foreign language education. And I've been working as a Chinese teacher for the past 12 years. And this is my second year teaching at North Ridgeville schools. And I really enjoy teaching our students. They are fast and motivated learners, and they're lots of fun to work with. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
So Holly does Chinese 1 at the Academic Center with our 8th graders. And now she's doing Chinese 2 with our high school students who were with us last year in Chinese 1. So unfortunately, I went from 3 kids to 2 kids because one of our students moved.
Okay.
We've got a full group of kids for our Chinese 1 this year, which is very exciting. So then let's turn it over then to Megan, who is our American Sign Language teacher. Megan, why don't you introduce yourself? But you have to unmute.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan Busey. I'm in Wadsworth, which is near Akron. So that's where I meet with the kids every day for my office. Let's see. The reason I got into sign language is because my best friend is deaf, and she taught me a little bit, but she was mainly mainstreamed, meaning she used oral communication instead of sign language. And I took it in college and I loved it. So I became an interpreter for several years and worked in the education field, interpreting for deaf students. And then I went back to school for my teaching degree and got a master's in teaching. And I came upon this job to teach ASL, and it has been wonderful. I love working with the kids. The communication between the screen and I works well. I can really see them learning the language. They can respond to me in sign language. They understand me, I understand them, and it's just been really nice. We do video they submit video samples of them signing so I can grade them and monitor their progress. And it's just been really, really successful.
That's fantastic. And we are blessed to have just two fantastic educators who work with our kids remotely every day. And so we wanted to give you a chance to see what it's like to be in the role of our kids. So because we have Megan right here as full screen for us, Megan, we're going to let you start off. We're going to start off with a little bit of a lesson on either Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas, or maybe even both, seeing we've got the time.
Sure, they're similar. All right, so happy is you're gonna make this hand shape. So all 5 hands up. You're gonna bring them to your chest, and this is happy. The motion is twice, happy. And then holidays is the same hand shape. And you do this. Happy holidays. And then happy and merry are similar. So it'd be Merry Christmas. Good.
Very nice.
Thank you, Megan. All right. Now we're going to take it up a notch, and we're going to try and now do the same thing in Mandarin. So let's go ahead, Holly.
Can we do that in sign language?
So for Merry Christmas in Chinese literally is Christmas happy. So we say the important date first, and then we say happy. So if you can see the sign above my head, it says 圣诞. 圣诞 means, yeah, 圣诞 means Christmas, and then 快乐 means happy. So can everybody repeat 圣诞 快乐 Yay!
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, and it was a
Thank
great
you.
opportunity. So we want to give you a chance to ask them some questions while you have them here. And so feel free to have any questions you would like to ask Megan or Holly.
Are there any challenges that you're facing being remote teachers?
Let's start with seeing we have Holly in front of us right now. Holly, we'll let you answer that, and then followed by Megan.
Yes, there are challenges being virtual. However, I think our students are very smart, and then they are very willing to use technology to do virtual learning. And then we have monitor in person inside the classroom to work with them also. So they are very focused. And then I'm trying to use creative learning and then with technology. So we use interactive whiteboard, and also Flickr, they can record. And then sometimes I do individual Zoom with them. So they will use their Chromebooks, Zoom in with me one-on-one, so we can have more private, they pick a quiet corner and then Zoom with me while the other students, like doing other assignments. And then I can do some individual time with one-on-one. So we use technology, try to, make up the, unfortunate I'm not able to be in person, that is seemingly to be shortcomings, but we are able to overcome that difficulties through technology in many ways. And then they are accommodating really well. So I really appreciate. I have told Mr. Hieronymus, I've been teaching for so many years, and then North Ridgeville students are very, very, like I would rank them top students I have, that the teaching experience with them is phenomenal.
That's good to hear. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you.
And now Molly, Megan, I'm sorry, who connects all day with our kids, and then even has the challenge of some of our students connecting through their Chromebooks from LCC, may have a little more challenges than, teaching Chinese over video is easy. But she's had a couple other challenges added on to the task of teaching remotely. Megan, you want to share anything about that?
Sure. For the most part, it's been very successful. The biggest challenge is the internet sometimes can be laggy, which can kind of like freeze me in a weird spot, and the kids aren't seeing the sign that clearly. how I kind of get around that is I provide them with really good material of the actual sign in a gift form so they can practice at home. But that was one of the biggest obstacles that we're trying to work through, and just not really having like our own classroom. So that's another tough obstacle, but you know, the kids are pretty flexible and they work really well in the setting, and they work well with me, which is really nice. I'm very much a people person, so not being at the school has been kind of hard to not directly interact with the kids. But as time has gone on, kids have come up to the board, like when we have like a few minutes before or after class, and they share stuff with me, just like it would happen if I was there. And I've seen a big change with that, so that's really nice.
Thank you.
Any questions for either?
Are they just in these sessions with North Ridgeville? They're not being taught with other classes, other districts at the same time?
That is correct. So they are our remote teacher. And so it is a one-to-many environment, which is a lot easier than trying to do, you know, one-to-many individual connections, which works out really good. With Megan did it last year with our kids in the 1 to a million different connections. And I would say you probably would appreciate this year a little more than last year.
I wasn't there last year,
Well, I'm
but
sorry, with a different teacher. I'm sorry, my bad.
that's okay. That's okay. I would prefer it like just one screen, because them connecting in with multiple would make it kind of chaotic.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the enrollment like for the classes?
Let's see, for our American Sign Language, and I apologize, I don't have the exact numbers, but I believe we are full.
I have them.
Oh, see, there you go, see.
I have 152 students total. In ASL 1, I have about 104.
Very exciting.
Wow.
And
And they're great.
And Holly, you have 2 students for Chinese 2. And then how many students do you have for Chinese 1? I'm trying to remember. I think it's 20.
15. I have 15 students in Chinese 1.
And then how does that look moving forward? So we have Chinese 1, Chinese 2. Will we continue this, that they can do it all the way through their senior year if they so choose? And clearly, if we have a class with 2, we're okay with the number of students because it is remote learning. So is that the goal, is to continue with?
Yeah, of course, space is always going to be a challenge, especially with as we talk about the high school. Right now, it works out really well because Chinese 2 takes place at the exact same time as an American Sign Language class. So the students in ASL are in the main part of the library, and the 2 students are in the conference room. So that's able to work out well for us. Now we'll have to start to have a discussion of how we can make this work next year with where we anticipate to have more students going into that Chinese 2 next year, and how we can adjust those schedules. So all that is something that we're still looking at and negotiating. Okay, good. We'd love to do it without having to buy more stuff.
Maybe not to Mr. Hieronymus, but do you anticipate that there will be an opportunity to bring the teachers into the school? 152 sounds like a good load. Do you feel like this is something we may want to bring in or continue virtual?
I don't know, Paul, if you want to answer that, but it's definitely a discussion that we have had in terms of, you know, if we get to a point where we have a full teacher to be able to bring them on board. I think at first our question was, is this something that will take off? And clearly it has. And so, you know, with ASL at this moment, I would say that that's definitely a possibility.
Availability of teachers is always a challenge. And I know this because the person we work with at the East Central Ohio ESC, who does the hiring for the teachers, really struggles every year trying to find good ASL teachers. And that's a key piece, is having good ones. There are a lot of people who think they can teach sign language. And when you get them in front of somebody who knows it, they go, they don't know sign language. And I think one of our presidents found that out one time on accident when somebody was standing up that it wasn't even an actual interpreter. It was actually got off stage and was making signs and not actually correct. So it's an easy one to get by people. So it's one thing we would want to make sure that we have a good person for, and that makes another couple of challenges.
Sure, I appreciate that diligence too.
And then Holly, do our kids have a chance to interact with people that are fluent in Mandarin Chinese? It's one thing to learn it in a classroom setting. It's another thing to actually converse with somebody that's fluent as a first language. Will they have opportunities to do that?
So far, they have me since August until now. But my organization is always looking into different opportunities. Like we will connect with, in the future, we will connect with some Chinese performers for New Year. And then they can do some performances and then maybe live, and then they can be interactive and then answering some questions, something like that. We're looking into that. So and then also in the past, I have pulled in some Chinese native students. So I can look into that again. I will try to find some same age or similar age students, see if they're available to Zoom in with me and then with the class at the same time, and then they can talk. So there are all kinds of possibilities we could do, and then so to be creative.
And one of the programs that is also part of our commitment with the ESCO, with the East Central ESE, is they have an abroad program as well, where the students over the summer have an opportunity to go and actually travel to mainland China. And for the students, everything is covered. The entire payment, everything is covered by the Confucius Institute. So COVID has made that a little bit of a challenge. Obviously, that's something we would have been able to do last summer, and I don't believe they're quite ready to do it yet this summer. But it is something that is was part of the program that we talked about when we were first looking into this, into taking this. So it's a wonderful thing having that tie to the Confucius Institute for us to be able to have those opportunities.
And there's one more thing. Last year, even though it was COVID, but that last year was the first year, and then I had 3 students in Chinese 1, and then 2 of them were able to attend a virtual competition with Great Lake region with other students who are also learning Chinese. And then they were able to get 4th place, competing with many other students, around Great Lakes. And then so that was wonderful. And then this year, so 3 students last year, Chinese 1, now 2 of them, now they are Chinese 2. And then they're also doing College Credit Plus for learning Chinese. So we're trying to, bring a lot of credits and then bring a lot of opportunities for them to experience Chinese learning.
That's great.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
And that concludes our report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right.
Holiday. Oh, this is happy holidays. See, she's going, Mary. Happy holidays.
All righty.
Merry Christmas.
We're going to go ahead and then ask Holly and Megan to mute then, and we'll be able to move on.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Right into the consent agenda. Ms. Tamira, you have an education report for us this
I
evening?
do. I have one item to consider under the education report. We have a supervised overnight field trip, the North Ridgeville High School boys wrestling team to travel to Oregon, Ohio for the Ohio High School Wrestling Tournament. This is a trip set for January 15th, 2022 through January 16th, 2022. All of the OHSAA and North Ridgeville City Schools COVID-19 protocols will be strictly adhered to. This is the first reading for this item. The second reading and consideration for approval will be at our December 21st regular meeting.
Okay, me being in true form once again, we're gonna back up and actually gonna give an opportunity for hearing of the public. To apologize. For some reason I missed this. So not a regular basis, but it happens. So now's your opportunity to approach the podium and.
Happy holidays.
Oh, happy holidays.
You couldn't tell he was saying.
I couldn't really quite get it.
I totally got you, Mike.
Now, in fairness to myself, there's really, everybody in attendance here is school district employees and a future board member, so it really wasn't overseeing, limited people to speak in public. But thank you for pointing out that I missed it again. All right, Ms. Yancey, we have a communications report.
Oh, actually, Mr. Back, I have a question about the overnight field trip.
Ms. McCarthy has a question.
I know this surprises everybody. We got the form for the overnight field trip. It doesn't have any indication about transportation. Does anybody know how they're getting there? It's the whole transportation thing was blank.
Yeah, I would venture to guess we can confirm, but I would guess school transportation buses.
Okay, because they didn't factor that in the cost, or, I mean, it didn't, yeah, it was just, it's very blank, so.
It was very much.
Very blank. Not just blank, but there's no like, talk about money for transportation, there's no talk about who's taking them there and back, so forth and so on.
We'll get that answer for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great, Ms. Yancey, you have a communications report?
I do, thanks. We have 6 gifts to the North Ridgeville City Schools. It is recommended that the Board of Education accept the following gifts with appreciation. $1,578 was donated by the North Ridgeville Athletic Boosters to cover the cost of the hotel stay for the North Ridgeville High School wrestling team during their overnight stay at Oregon, Ohio.
Indeed.
$59.95 was donated by Elliot Plantner in the North Ridgeville Boy Scout Troop 153. All proceeds will go to Ranger High Tech Academy. $1,100 was donated by North Ridgeville Athletic Boosters to purchase 86 swim caps for the North Ridgeville High School swim team. $15 was donated by Jennifer Hicks through the Charities Aid Foundation of America Employee Giving Campaign to the North Ridgeville City Schools. Toys, dolls, and games were donated by Starfish Computer Company of North Homestead to the Early Childhood Learning Community to be used as gifts for the holiday season. Finally, 12 advanced hand sanitizers and 22 hand sanitizing wipes were donated by Elizabeth Miller to the North Ridgeville Academic Center. Thank you to the community for their tremendous support of our schools and our students. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Move right into buildings and operations. We have one item to consider under the buildings and operations report. We have a new contract with Southeast Security for the installation of an upgrade of software to the existing security camera system with a 3-year milestone software agreement. This is the first reading for this item. The second reading and consideration for approval will be at our December 21st meeting. With the human resources, Ms. Saxon.
Yes, we have several items in the Human Resources report. 1, supervisor resignation. 2, represented support staff resignations. 1, certified building substitute resignation. 1, support staff substitute resignation. 1, supervisor appointment. 2, non-represented support staff appointments. 1, certified staff leave replacement appointment. 1, support staff leave replacement. 1, special project supplemental contracts, 1 supplemental contract, 1 non-NREA supplemental contract, 1 hourly tutor contract, 1 support staff substitute appointment, 2 certified staff adjustments, 1 supplemental contract adjustment, 3 support staff leaves of absence. This is the first reading for these items. The second reading and consideration for approval will be at the December 21st regular meeting. This concludes the Human Resources report.
And we will continue with Ms. Saxon as we have another human resources report.
Yes, we have 2 items under this Human Resources report. 1 certified leave replacement appointment, 2 special project supplemental contracts, 5 support staff appointments, 1 certified staff leave replacement resignation, 1 approval of NRNTEA tentative agreement. I move to approve the human resources items in 1 reading.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Saxon, second by Ms. Tamira. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mr. Vaca.
Yes. It is recommended that the Board of Education enter into executive session for reviewing negotiations with public employees concerning their compensation and other terms and conditions of employment. There will be no action to follow.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Tamira, second by Ms. Yetsey. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Tamira,
Yes.
Mrs. Yetsey,
Yes.
Mrs. McCarthy,
Yes.
Mrs. Saxon,
Yes.
Mr. Vaca.
Yes. All right, everybody, thank you for coming out this evening and happy holidays and that we don't see any yet.